What's up guys, this is Scott aka Killer Be Killed, and today I will be reviewing the critically acclaimed horror movie, Get Out. The reason I put a little bit of a question mark on the horror movie part is because I feel like this movie gets misgenred a lot as being a horror movie, when in reality I feel like it's more of like a suspense thriller kind of movie. And actually just Googling Get Out does show that it is labeled as a mystery/thriller movie. So I guess technically it's not misgenred, but I feel like the majority of people who watch the movie see it as a horror movie when in reality it just really isn't, but I'll get more into that later. Regardless, Get Out is a 2017 thriller written and directed by Jordan Peele, who is most known for his comedy sketch work in the show Key and Peele. So obviously, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This movie is most known for its 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is absolutely ridiculous. And even on other sites, the movie tends to fare well. On IMDb, Get Out has a 7.8 out of 10 rating, and on Metacritic, it has an 84%. And if you go on these sites or pay attention to ratings or anything like that, you'll know that pretty much any movie that's above a 5 or a 50% or something like that is a movie that tends to fare well in critic reviews. However, 99% on Rotten Tomatoes? That's just unheard of. But the first thing I have to say about this film is when you put it in the context of its reputation, the film is very underwhelming. Two things that I constantly hear about this movie is that one, it's very funny, and number two, it builds suspense very well. And it overall just executes the suspense thriller genre perfectly. Now personally, I disagree with both those statements. Regarding the statement that this movie is super funny, I feel like that's being extremely generous. I mean, sure, there's a few dialogue excerpts that'll make you like chuckle to yourself, but there's nothing really all that funny in this entire movie. And really, those comedic little half funny dialogue excerpts, excuse me, I cannot say that word very well. But anyways, I feel like those little dialogue things aren't even really that funny or really bring anything to the film. I mean, I guess you could argue that it's comic relief, but the movie isn't really scary enough or sad enough or anything like that where comic relief would really be needed. In general, I just think those little dialogue thingies are almost just there to remind us that this movie was written by a comedy writer. But other than that, I don't think they serve any purpose to enhance the film's quality. And regarding the suspense statement, this movie isn't really all that suspenseful. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are moments where there is suspense, but it's not really anything different that you would find from any other run-of-the-mill thriller movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad this thing isn't riddled with just suspense leading up to jump scare like the majority of these Hollywood horror movies. But still, I feel like priding yourself off of this aspect, it's kind of ridiculous being that there's nothing really special about it, or you can just find this in really any other suspense movie or any other thriller movie. Now, if you're in the mood for some really good suspense, I would like to suggest the horror short from the anthological movie Holidays called Father's Day. Now, don't get me wrong, the majority of that anthological movie is fucking garbage, and even this specific short has a dumb ending. Just put that all aside. The suspense in that short is some of the best I've ever experienced in my entire life. It's honestly groundbreaking. And I know none of you will do this because it doesn't make any sense for a build-up, but if you just deleted the last 30 seconds of that short, it might be the best short I've ever watched in my entire life. Because the suspense is so amazingly well done. The dialogue really builds up very well. Just the entire structure of how the scene unfolds. That is suspense that you can pride yourself on. I don't want to turn this into like a suggestion for movies, but I felt the need to recommend this movie when we're talking about really good, groundbreaking, unique suspense that really stands out from the herd and every other thriller suspense movie. One thing I will say though is the acting in this movie is absolutely incredible. Each actor, even down to the little small characters like that really weird creepy brother, they're all literally perfect. I cannot find a single flaw with any of the characters. Honestly, if you're gonna pride yourself off of something in this movie, pride yourself off of that. Pride yourself off of your casting and your actors and all of that. Don't pride yourself on a mediocre aspect of the film that you can find in any other movie. But yeah, Allison Williams, Daniel Kaluuya, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation, Caleb Landry Jones, which I believe was the brother, Bradley Whitford, Catherine Keener, they were all great. They were even the brainwashed maids, the brainwashed African-American people in the movie, even them as minor characters, were fantastic, absolutely superb. So if there's something that makes this movie stand out, it's the acting. I do feel the need to point out, though, that this movie in general shouldn't really be taken too seriously. I mean, its existence is almost kind of funny, which is a good thing, I guess. The whole, the white man or the boogeyman, and how some of these, white characters act and how they're all dorky. One scene sticks out particularly for me, and that's at the end when Rose is listening to music on her headphones and sitting in bed, crisscross applesauce, drinking a glass of milk. And I don't remember what song she was listening to, but I remember when I was watching the movie, I was like, do people actually listen to that song, on purpose? It was the kind of song that you would hear, in the background at, a party that your parents would go to, where they would do, the electric slide and the Macarena. So yeah, there's, little tidbits like that. The whole movie kind of comes off as absurdist and goofy. I feel like there are some people that are just taking it a bit too seriously. I think, in general, It's kind of an absurdist movie. It really is. So, I kind of feel like I can't go too hard on this. And honestly, if this thing wasn't rated as high as it was, I probably wouldn't even be reviewing it, because it would just be a goofy movie. There's almost nothing to say about it. It's fun, I guess. It's okay. And that's pretty much the end of it. In absolutely no context, I would give this movie a meh out of 10. Probably if I had to put a number to it, a 4 out of 10. Maybe a 4.5 because the acting is so good in it. But being that this thing is rated a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, it is rated higher than Titanic. It is rated higher than Dancer in the Dark. By the way, great movie. Check it out. Not many people know about it, so definitely check out that movie. It is even rated higher than Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And because of this, I feel obligated to rate this in the context that it exists in. And in that case, I have to give this movie a 0 out of 10. Maybe a 0.5 out of 10, just because it exists. I mean, honestly, 99% is absolutely ridiculous. Even a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and an 84% on Metacritic. It's too much. The movie is just not good enough. It's not funny enough. It's not suspenseful enough. It's not enough to be this high of a rating. It doesn't deserve it. Honestly, it should be around 5. And even then, it's being a little generous, but I feel like the fact that it's written and directed by Jordan Peele, who is a rather prominent figure that a lot of people like, and a lot of people watched his show, I will give it that. I will give it at least a 5 out of 10, 50%, whatever it translates to on their scale. But a 99%, a 7.8, an 84%, it is too damn high. It is too damn overrated. I'm sorry. It's okay. When I watched the movie and I finished, I was saying it's overrated. Even going back to when it was first being promoted, I said to myself, okay, this is just another movie. I wasn't thinking to myself, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be incredible. This is going to be a 90% plus on Rotten Tomatoes. No, I was just like, it's going to be a suspense horror or whatever. To be fair though, I'm not a huge fan of Key and Peele and of Jordan Peele's stuff. I'm just kind of a casual watcher of the show, so I feel like there would be more hype among those people who do really, really enjoy his work. But even still, it was really, really surprising to me when, on release day or whenever that week, I believe it was like 1 or 2 days before it was released, that the numbers came out that it was a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I just thought to myself, that's just ridiculous. It doesn't look that good. But, you know, you feel obligated to watch it. So when the movie finished, I thought to myself, that was ridiculously overrated. That was ridiculously overhyped. But I also didn't think it was a waste of time. I mean, even looking right now, the movie's an hour and 44 minutes long. So if you've never watched the movie, I would suggest watching it. You're not going to waste your time. It doesn't drag on. It's a fairly fast-paced, fast-moving movie. And it's not bad. It is meh. It is on the fence. It's okay. But it's no way a 99%. It is sooner a 1% than it is a 99%. I'm sorry, I don't want to drag this review along, but hopefully you get the point. By its own, if you take it out of its context, it's a mildly amusing movie. You will probably enjoy watching it. It's not really that funny. It's got some little dialogue things that'll make you chuckle. Suspense is okay. You find it in almost any other thriller. Casting's great though. Acting was wonderful, and it's probably some of the best acting I've seen in quite a long time. But regardless, out of context, 4 out of 10. In context, 0.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was overrated? Do you think it was properly rated? And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next review.